Okay. Welcome, everyone, to Weekend Wind Down with Business Coach Nancy. I'm also a certified body language trainer now. And I want to say cheers to everyone. Cheers. Happy Weekend Wind Down.
Cheers.
So I am here with my team today. Let me just refresh my page because we wanted to talk a little bit about how our team runs in the background. So I was joking around in one of my lives in my group, the Interior Design Business Forum, that I'm hoping it doesn't turn into a roast on me.
It's not. Never.
But I wanted to tell people as they're coming on that last week I was at the IDS National Conference and I'm a national board member and the president of the virtual chapter and did a couple of presentations there. Anyway, it was a great time in Palm Springs, California. If you are not a member of the Interior Design Society, I highly encourage it because it's a great organization. And I'm going to say hi to Heather. So you see how I can bring up people's comments as they come in. So hi, Heather. So anyway, we're here today to kind of talk about how to tell people as they're coming on.
That's my fault.
Last week I was at the okay. Caden. When you play my Facebook in the background, are you trying to share it?
No, I'm just watching.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm not watching myself even. So I wanted to talk to everyone about like kind of where I began and how I developed this team, because I think it's interesting for those who start out as a solo entrepreneur and then had a different business before, some of them like I did, and then they're growing a team, whether you're an interior designer or a coach. It's interesting or really even a marketing agency. It's interesting to see how we run the operation behind the scenes. So I started out, I was a corporate worker. I was the first vice president at the Dime Savings Bank of New York. I ran three departments of 50 people each, so 150 people, had kids, decided to leave, became a personal fitness instructor. And then after I had my third kid, Kevin, I decided 2 years after he was born to start this art framing and accessory business. So basically, my mother was an artist living in Las Vegas with my father, and she had all this artwork and she just didn't know what to do with it. So she said, I'm gonna give it all away. And I'm like, don't do that. I'll sell it. So I figured it all out. I started with home art parties. A lot of you guys have heard this story before, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but started as a one-woman show. At some point, as a mom of 3 young kids, I needed to expand because I was getting called more and more for artwork with expressive living. By that point, I had identified my ideal client were interior designers. I had joined the Interior Design Society locally, and I was getting a lot of business, but I couldn't keep up. So I hired my first employee. Her name was Barbara. I actually went out to dinner with her last night, and she helped me with the artwork. And we drove all over Long Island showing artwork everywhere. At some point, one of the designers said to me, well, can you do accessories also? I'm like, sure. So we expanded the house, made a showroom, and created expressive living. Art and framing now became art framing and accessories. And that's when I hired Sally, who hates the fact that she's going to be first up to talk because she doesn't even want to be here, really. But hi, Sally. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
So, Sally, just tell everyone, as my accessory showroom manager, kind of like what you did for expressive living.
Oh, that was fun. That was completely different from what I'm doing now. But I used to shop. I used to shop for everything that our clients wanted. They used to send me images, and we would kind of go through all the images and see the accessories that they needed. And then Barbara would also help with the art side of it. So that was fun doing that.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, interior designers would come shop. It was in my house, but it was the whole upstairs that we had the showroom, and interior designers would come and shop. And then we would also at times pack up.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
That was the harder part. Where we would actually get pictures of someone's home from an interior designer, select accessories we thought would look good, verify it with the designer, pack it all up, put it in boxes, put it in down my stairs, through my open area, into my van, and drive to people's houses, place the accessories, and hope they would buy them. I mean, basically that's what we did. And we were always there for the most part with the interior designer involved. Once the interior designers knew me for a long time, then they trusted me to just kind of go in and do it. So it was a mix. But Sally was the one who got to do all the shopping to fill the showroom. And if you guys remember when I did Weekend Wind Down, when I started, I had like beautiful shelves behind me with accessories. That was my accessory showroom. So when I started coaching, I decided to hang my shingle as a coach because I was giving a lot of business advice to interior designers. It's my natural skill, business building, and I'm a voracious learner when it comes to sales, marketing, and leadership. So it was a natural progression for me. So when I started coaching, I started just really locally, right, on Long Island, and Sally quickly transformed into what you did, like customer service, billing.
Yeah, that was easy. That I quickly did.
And when the coaching started to take off, I decided like, okay, I'm done with expressive living. It got to the point, I'll be perfectly honest, if somebody called and wanted artwork, there goes my dog. If somebody wanted artwork, I was kind of like annoyed. I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I loved the coaching so much that I just didn't want to do it. So Sally transferred her skill somewhat reluctantly in the beginning, to be honest, right? You were nervous.
I was. It was a big change.
Do you remember the first thing I asked you to do? Like, and you were like, I don't do that.
It was probably Facebook, which is why I'm cringing right now that I'm on this.
I think you're right. I think it was Facebook. You really don't do Facebook with your own personal Facebook. You hate Facebook basically when it comes to being yourself. But we had a talk, and like you were going to be posting as me basically, right? So you were like, all right, I can do that. And you came around, and eventually I closed down Expressive Living completely. Barbara now works for the other art consultant on Long Island, who's fabulous, Etc. Art, Anita Abrams, and she's very happy there. And Sally then went back to her home with a computer and works for me virtually now. She doesn't work in my home. So tell everyone what you do for me now.
Now I actually am a little bit of a pro with Nancy's Facebook page. I create the content. What I do is we have another worker who creates blogs for Nancy, and I use those blogs as content, and I spread it through Facebook. Then I schedule all the content, usually about a month ahead.
On my business page.
Yes, on the business page. And then I also share those blogs on Pinterest so that they could keep reliving on Pinterest.
And I want to tell the Pinterest story quickly before going on to Cadens, who was my second hire for the coaching business, because there was a point where I said to all my staff, like, what do you like to do? Like, is there something you like to do that I don't know about? And that's when I found out that you loved Pinterest. And we weren't even on Pinterest at the time.
Right.
Pinterest now has like 500,000, views a month for us. And more. It goes up and down. But I'm going to be honest with everyone. It's my content, but I do absolutely nothing with Pinterest. It's all Sally.
But it's fun.
It is fun. You like it. Okay, so it's important. I tell you this because it's important to ask your staff once in a while, like, what do you like to do? Because they may have a hidden skill that you never knew about, and it could end up benefiting your business. And if you never ask, you'll never know. So that's one of the tips as a manager, as a business owner, as a CEO that I always try to implement. Like, what do you like to do? What do you like to learn about? And if that's something we can fit into our business model, because it'll grow the business following, then I'm all for that. So thank you, Sally. You've been with me the longest.
I can't believe it. It's crazy.
I know, it is crazy.
I think you've known me since I was like, 12 or 14, 15 maybe?
A little older, I think, but it feels like forever in a way.
Yeah, and now we're working together. It's crazy.
I know. And it's kind of funny because as much as I fought this whole virtual thing, I actually look forward to a quick little Zoom to catch up with whether it's Nancy or Caden.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do all our meetings via Zoom. We rarely even just speak on the phone. But let me go to Caden, who, for those of you who don't know, Caden is my son. You can tell by the last name. Caden is 25. And you want to tell the story of how you started working for me, Caden?
Well, so it's a little bit of a I'll make a long story short. I was working at Wells Fargo Advisory, doing trades, working for a financial advisor, like not in college anymore, but still living at home on Long Island. As everyone knows, Long Island is incredibly expensive to live in, and there was no way I was going to be able to afford an apartment. But I got licensed as a skydiver at 19. So I was also driving upstate every single weekend and like waiting for the weekend to go jumping. So I eventually saved up some money from that job, quit my job, moved up to New Paltz where I live now, and started working at a deli.
By the way, can I just jump in here? Because as a mother, he's got all his licenses, Series 7, Series 63.
Yeah.
I don't know what the numbers are, but his father is a financial advisor, and he went that route. He's got all his licenses. He's got a really good job working for Wells Fargo for some financial advisor, and had taken the certified financial planning courses, and then decides to move upstate and work in a deli. Just saying.
But so I was skydiving, 3 or 4 days a week. And to make a long story short, I had an off landing. I landed in somebody's backyard, ended up at the hospital with a dislocated shoulder. And, working at a deli, you need your hands. So I couldn't work there anymore. And at that point, what year was that, Mom? That was like November 2017. And you were in your very first year of, no, maybe it'd been your second year of coaching.
I hadn't shut down Expressive Living yet, because I remember when I got the phone call, it was a Saturday. I was at a client's house with artwork. So I was doing the coaching, but I wasn't doing just the coaching. I still had the overlap. And I got the phone call. I'm thinking, why are you calling me on a Saturday? And the first sentence was, I'm okay, but I'm in the hospital. I'm like, okay, that's fabulous. Go ahead.
But so then what happened? You said, I think you offered me a job, and you offered to start paying for some of the training you needed me to do. And then I started just like absolutely gobbling up the content. And then I was like, and I have this idea, and I have this idea, and I have this idea. And suddenly we became like strategic partners and started exploding your business. Really.
Yeah, I will say that when I was doing it by myself and then just with Selly, it was like billing people through QuickBooks, and I had hired a coach to tell me how to put off a summit, which is an interview series. And we were struggling through, very manual at that time. And then Caden came on, and he had a love for technology and absorbing information. And he's like, you're doing it all wrong, Mom. I was like, what do you mean I'm doing it all wrong? I am not doing it all wrong. It's working. I'm making some money. And he's like, yeah, but you could help so many more people. So, and I'm like, okay, then just tell me what to do. Because like I had absorbed, at my age, at that time I was 50, 51, I had absorbed so much technology. I was on overload. I literally could not absorb one more thought of technology. And Caden just immediately had an aptitude for it.
Well, because at the time you were still, and really I don't want to take up too much time, because the whole purpose of this live is to kind of explain to everyone how we keep Nancy's content machine rolling, and her business behind the scenes. We've heard from people, Nancy, you're everywhere. And that's the point of her team. That's all of us being here. And we'll get to Cody, and you'll find out what he does next. But, at the time when I came on, you were still trying to sell people like 6-week programs for $2,500. And in my brain, I was like, that's not sustainable. You need recurring monthly stability and income. So we created the subscription coaching plan, and we took away the free consult because we were being absolutely buried by free consults at that point.
Yeah.
So we made the consults $97, and we turned your whole system into kind of subscription coaching.
Right. I mean, it's basically, like everyone starts out. When I started Expressive Living, I was cutting mats in my basement with a mat cutter from Michael's. Like when I started coaching, I was doing everything like manual. I had a file for everyone, and I would write manual notes. But as with all of you, as you grow your business, you have to get your systems in place, and you have to often bring on people to help you do that. So that's what we've done. So let me move on. There's so much more. Kate and I are going to start doing Tuesday chats within my group, the Interior Design Business Forum, where we're going to talk more about marketing and sales and growth. And we're going to start doing that regularly at Tuesdays at 11 o'clock. But I want to move on to when I brought on Cody, who I found when I was coaching with someone else, another coach. I always have a coach on board, by the way, guys, because there's always people that can teach you more. And he was using Cody to help him manage a Facebook group. At the time, I think I only had okay, first of all, let me tell you, Cody's from the Philippines, and right now it's 4:46 a.m. and he woke up just to do this. So thank you, Cody.
Yeah. So I guess I'm the first person who kind of didn't adhere to the weekend wind down because I'm drinking coffee. Am I promoting something? I'm not.
Cheers.
For someone who's on keto, I mean, it's only coffee and water that I can.
Are you doing the keto diet?
I am.
Oh, Heather, are you still watching?
6 weeks of losing 20 pounds. Imagine that. I mean,
oh my God, you already look so tiny.
I know.
I know. Do not tell us this.
Right. So I guess, I mean, so that's why I'm drinking coffee, not wine. So yeah, a little bit about me. So prior working online, I used to work in a corporate too. I mean, almost all of us do. So I've worked in a call center industry, customer service industry. I also once handled Wells Fargo, but that's just, it's just a very small amount of time. I mean, they like outsourced everything in the Philippines anyway. So I've worked as a team supervisor and operations manager for outsourced teams in Microsoft, United Healthcare, those companies, until I decided 2016 that I wanted to work online. I started Imagine. I don't know if this team knows that, but when I started working online, I was teaching Chinese folks to speak English. So that's great.
Really?
I do until I thought of applying as a VA, and then that run, I think 8 months to a year until I thought of creating my own team. And as someone who was on a leadership role way back corporate during a combo of customer service and contact center industry. I just thought I wanted to work closely with coaches, and Nancy was right. I was helping out another coach with as much as 8,000 groups, and that's what we do. So I'm like, I'd say Cadens, Sally, and another member, they're like the content masters. We do I can do content also, but I guess that's not really like the top skill that I have. But I'm like the surround system of the team. So there's this content published by the team, and then we just find ways on how to scatter it. And especially that interior designers are both active on LinkedIn and Facebook. That's where we scatter all of these content around. So I guess my role is to help out, also get Nancy everywhere. So there, I remember when I started with Nancy, that was, if I'm not mistaken, that's either almost a year, either March or April.
Yeah, I think it's over a year now.
Yeah, it's over a year. As I remember, the Facebook group was was it 600 or 400?
I was going to say, I think it was about 600. So Cody manages, he's the lead administrator in my group, the Interior Design Business Forum. So when you're mad at us, be mad at him. Just kidding. It's all his fault if you get bumped out of the group.
No, I've gotten pretty bad too.
Are we really telling the secrets that whenever their links are removed or whenever they're I'd say blocked for quite some time, it's me who's behind that. So
Yeah.
I know you'll forgive me, but rules are rules. I know that you'll understand that.
Yeah.
So yeah, way back April, the group was somewhere that number, but right now, we are at. I literally have another tab with my metrics. We started somewhere 600, 800, but right now, just within a span of a year, we have as much as 3,800. Lincoln, on the other hand, when I started with Nancy, Lincoln was at somewhere 4,000. And right now, her Lincoln is, I think it's at 5 digits already.
I'm about 16,000, I think, on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So that's 16,949. I literally have
Almost
another
17,000.
Wow.
And Cody's mastery is really, growing the LinkedIn as a primary almost, but then also getting people to Nancy's email list and into her Facebook group as like the two secondary targets. So he uses growing her LinkedIn to actually feed into all these other, free offers and groups. And we try to make, the cold audience from LinkedIn a warm audience in either way, which you really succeed at.
Yeah, I mean, Cody's team. It's not just Cody. Cody's an online business manager. He has a team behind him, and he grows my LinkedIn, brings people from LinkedIn to Facebook into my group, manages the group. His team does all the posts in the group. So all those questions you see, I mean, we do have weekly meetings, and we're going to go into them next that kind of bring all this together. But Malia, did we lose you? So just so you know, I have a fourth team member that is in the waiting room. We thought we could bring more people into this, but we couldn't. And now her screen is black in the waiting room. She was there a second ago. So I also have Malia. I'm hoping I can bring her in. She's in her car right now. And she's the one who I hired through Upwork, right? So you guys have heard me talk, at least my clients have, when you're looking for someone, you can go to Fiverr, you can go to Upwork, you can go to hiremymom.com, you can go to Freelancing Females. Like, there's so many places to hire virtually for interior designers and for coaches and marketing companies. Whose phone is ringing?
It's mine. Can I get it?
No, you can get it. I'm going to mute you. Okay. So this is real life, guys, right? Dogs will be barking and phones will be ringing. So Malia, actually, I hired her through Upwork, I think originally to do some Instagram, not Instagram. Yeah, actually, I think I did. She was doing a little bit of Instagram. She was doing some website tweaks for me. And in the end, in asking again, what does everyone like to do? What skills do you have that I don't know about? She ended up saying, oh, I'm a ghostwriter for other people. And I'm like, what? Like, oh my God, my blogs are burying me. So we had Malia start writing the blogs. So I'm hoping she comes back soon. Right now, her screen is black. You're back, Sally. But this team is what makes me everywhere. I'm not there by myself. I mean, it's always me responding back. Like when somebody messages me or tags me, that is always me. But the first throw out of, and now she's gone completely. The first content post is usually coming from someone on this team.
And I think I was just
what's the matter? You're on.
I'm hearing myself garble. I was just going to say, I think the key is too, it took us all a while to learn Nancy's voice. And so Nancy would say, so the reason Malia got so good at at ghostwriting blogs for Nancy is because she listened to every live Nancy's done, and she's listened to every video she's done, and she's transcribed them and then repurposed the content for those blogs.
She's back. I'm going to bring Sally down and bring Malia up because Malia's back. Hold on, Malia, you're coming up. There you are. Say hi.
Hey.
So we played this game.
I don't know what was going on. I could hear you guys the whole time, and I'm like, I'm here.
Oh.
I was typing in the message. I'm like, I'm here.
Oh, funny. No, because we just saw a black screen.
Oh.
That's so funny. So, all right, everyone, meet Malia. She was the one I hired originally from Upwork.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
And we played this game. Where in the world is Malia right now? So, because you're always traveling.
That is true. That is true.
And where are you?
Right now, it's a secret because it's a surprise for somebody.
Okay, so we can't tell. We can't. So tell everyone what you do for me.
So I am in charge of Nancy's content, the blog content, and some email writing, and all sorts of copy, but primarily her blogs. And it's so much fun to do because you can leverage content so many different ways.
Right.
I mean, it's incredible. And I didn't realize that until I started working with Nancy.
It's one of my favorite things to do, right? If you start out with a video, you turn the video into an email eventually. You turn the email into a blog post eventually. Or if you start with a blog post, because you're more of a writer, then you turn the blog post into a video and cut it down to Facebook posts like Sally does. And now we also have, in addition to this team, we also have Wingnut Social now handling our Instagram, and they're doing the same thing. They're basically going back to my content and my blogs. I have so much content from being in business for 3 years that they're able to go through my content and create Instagram posts. So everything gets chopped down and cut up and then recirculated. And that's where, people struggle with new content all the time. And just as another thing, I mean, Cody gets me on a Saturday and is like, you need to film videos for LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, I got to do my hair on a Saturday.
We definitely hold Nancy accountable. We're like, I tell her, I need you on Zoom because I need you to answer these questions so that I can write the copy for this funnel. And I know Malia does the same thing, get on my calendar because I need to know what topics you want me to write blogs about. I mean, Nancy's hard to get sometimes.
Never. Listen, my job, and I tell my clients this all the time, and so I'm going to talk to my clients. Your job as a CEO of your company is to do what you do best. And for interior designers, you're the creatives, you're selecting, you're running your systems, you're putting yourself out there, you're collaborating, you're making presentations, you're making the connections. That's my job. My job is to coach my clients to create more value for them by continuing to learn and create exercises for them, documentation for them, create my collaborations, do my speaking engagements, right? It's like, so I can't do everything, and neither can you. And that's why I wanted to have this weekend wind down to show you that I started out just me. And then I was like, okay, Sally, we got to take you off of expressive living and we need to put you on the coaching. And then it's like, okay, coaching's growing. Now I need someone to do, the technology that I just couldn't get. So I bring on Cadens. And then it was like, okay, now I need this Facebook group is getting out of control and I can't do it myself. I don't even know what rules. I don't know. I can't be on it all the time. Otherwise, I'm not giving my clients what they need. So then we brought on Cody, and then it was like, I'm like crying because I can't write my emails myself all the time in my blogs. It's just too much. I have no life. So then it's like, bring on Malia. And then it's, again, it's web designers. I've used Diana Halstead for my web to create my website. You need, and now Wingnut Social for my Instagram. You have to invest in growing But then you have to get really good at leadership and management and project management, right? Team leading. So you guys want to talk a little bit about how we manage our well-oiled machine, which we're not a well-oiled machine. It's smoke and mirrors.
No. But well, I want to talk first about like you as the leader. And you told your story a bit in the beginning about how you have like a lot of experience managing teams, whether it be leadership in the IDS, the Interior Design Society, or managing, committees. And I think, first I want people to make comments like, do you have a team? Are you currently running a team? Do you have any questions about how Nancy has run teams in the past? But then I also want to ask you, Mom, how do you feel? Okay, I had the question in my brain and then I lost it. But like, how do you feel your team leadership is so effective as opposed to other people, which I really do think it is?
Thank you. And I think it is as well, only because even from when I was in my 20s, managing the people at the Dime Savings Bank, the mortgage servicing department, people who have worked for me are still friendly with me. We still go out to dinner. We still have that connection. And I think primarily it's because I share all my knowledge. There's actually a couple of reasons. One, I share all my knowledge. If I pay for a training, it's open to everybody on my team. I want everyone to expand and grow. And that means they may leave me someday, and that's okay because they need to pursue what they want to do, right? I mean, Caden, you even left at one point like, Mom, I could make more money working for other people being a digital marketer. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you got to go do it. And then you came back because you just liked working and growing this company, which I am so grateful for. But it's respecting everybody as a person, not being a bully as a boss. My job is to make sure that you guys all have all the tools you need to do your job well. And that means training, inspiration. Like if someone's down and they're just not getting the job done, I get on the phone. I get on Zoom with you guys. Like, what's going on? What do you need? What can I do for you? Right? I try to give you all the tools that you need to grow. And when a mistake happens, and actually I'm going to bring Sally back up for a second. I'm going to bring Cody down and Sally up because I know that she has an opinion of this. When somebody makes a mistake, I don't go nuts because I'm the first one that makes most of the mistakes, to be honest, right? I mean, Cody has had to tell me, like, you can't be liking people, like posts in the group when they're doing things they're not supposed to be doing. I'm like, oh, like I'm just like soft that way. So does that make sense what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean,
if you guys make a mistake, what do I do?
You say, okay,
Yeah, I think you're just so genuine and you're just so understanding about everything that even if we do make a mistake, you don't lash out or you don't say anything. I think we feel even worse because we're like, oh my God. And you're like, it's all right. Don't worry about it. We feel bad because I do anyway. I feel bad because I failed you and you're so genuine. It really is a pleasure working with you. It's always been.
But here's the thing, guys. When you make a mistake, I've made bigger ones, trust me. So I'm like, all right, it's all part of the learning curve. And when a mistake is made, you have to put perspective on it, right? Mm-hmm. How many people actually saw that mistake before we pulled it back, right? We've all made typos and grammatical errors and I've done some majorly stupid things when it comes to email. I'm the master of stupid email moves. But like when you think of what percentage of people actually see it and then how many people actually are judgmental of it, the number goes down. And mistakes happen. We're real people. So I just think when mistakes happen, and we have a system, guys, it's not like for everyone who's listening, it's like Malia ghost writes the blog after reading my content. She has all her ways of doing that. And then it goes to Sally and she reads it. Then it goes to Caden and he reads it. And then it comes to me and I'm like, how did none of you catch this big typo, right? And I'm like, or this doesn't sound quite like me. So like, but most of the time it does, and I don't have to touch a thing. But sometimes I have to make adjustments, and that's okay. I mean, you guys, you're working so hard all the time.
And something else I think makes you a really strong leader is that you don't micromanage. You truly do allow us each to. And you once told me, you were like, Caden, I don't micromanage you because I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
And that's truly the case for all of you. I don't know. Like sometimes I call Malia, I'm like, I don't understand what you're doing. Like, I just feel disconnected. Like, just fill me in. Like, how are you pumping out so much content? And Caden, that's the technology stuff. I'm just like, can you do it? I don't need to know the details, right? And Sally, again, with so much that you do, especially Pinterest. And then Cody is just like a LinkedIn and Facebook group for like managing all that stuff. And I just really oversee. And I only really interject if I see something going wrong or we need to change direction because we're rolling out a big program.
And really, I think one of the most interesting conversations just you and I have had is the fact that one day I think you were on the phone with like Verizon for about 2 hours. You were so frustrated because you hadn't talked to any clients. You hadn't made a sale in a couple of days. You hadn't helped anyone. And I said to you, I was like, listen, Mom, you're the only one who can make this company money. You're the only one who can help designers make more money. And so you actually had a shift when you listened and you were like, you know what, you're right. I need to outsource even more,
Yeah. And it's always a balance. Listen, I'd outsource everything if I could, but except for talking to my clients, learning, relaying, speaking. But obviously it's not something I can do. You can't jump to the front of the line. So anyone who's listening, who's building a business, just realize I started by myself. Then I slowly bring on people. And I really think very hard about what is the best path and what is the best use of the money. So I really, truly always have a coach on board. That's number one. Number two, and we just readjusted this team last week or the week before. Everyone was stretched to their limit. Nobody had a moment to breathe. There's stuff in the background not getting done. And I was like, okay, let's pull back on Pinterest a little bit. Let's go to an every other week blog. Let's give everyone a little bit more space in their day, because in the space is where the creativity happens.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And without that, we were all like, we couldn't even think. We were just do.
And more importantly, we couldn't help each other. Like if I was overstressed, Sally and Malia didn't have any time to take anything off my plate. And if, Sally had a question, I didn't have any time to get on the phone with her and help.
Right. What's funny is though, even though we were in that position, I kind of didn't even realize it until you made the call to pull back. Which then when you made the call to pull back, now all of a sudden this week I was like, wow, this feels great. Like I had so much time to catch up on things that I wasn't able to.
Yes. You know what? Even as a solopreneur, there are times where burnout is going to be inevitable. And you can't let yourself get to that point, right? It's really important. Like I block out my calendars at certain days of the week. And usually I do fill it up, but we try to block out a couple of hours a day. And when I get slammed with, a ton of new consults, which I love, listen, Cadens said it before, and I just have to bring emphasis to it. Whatever drives your energy is what you have to try to do on a daily basis. So if I don't talk and help designers every day or business owners, I literally start to wilt. It's the weirdest thing. It's almost like I go into a depression. And Caden will say to me, like, did you have any clients on the calendar today? And I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, I need to talk to people and help them build their businesses every single day. So for designers, they need to create and build spaces every day. And in the beginning, I did a lot of that for free just because I just needed to drive my energy all the time. And it means, you could do, for me, it was giving advice free. That's easy to do. We all do that, right? But for a designer, doing it in your own home, going to a show house, feeding your creativity, going to a designer event, all that is so important to just keep you motivated to keep going. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so what lessons do you think, like, all the designers listening could take away from the way you manage your company, and how you recommend, like, them kind of starting a team? Is that?
I do recommend people start teams sooner than they think they need to believe it or not. So here's the thing. One, treat yourself like an employee in a way in the beginning, and make sure you have space in your calendar for creativity. Then hire someone who has skills that you don't have, right? Hire someone who has skills you don't have. It is not something like whatever's sucking your energy the most that actually has the potential to bring you clients, hire that person first. If you're unorganized, then you have to hire an office manager first.
Mm-hmm.
That office manager hopefully has other skills. Somebody's clicking. Do we know who's clicking?
It's my dog.
Oh, I'm muting you. Caden got a new dog. What's he doing?
He's biting a bone on the wood floor.
You need to get him a rug or something.
He has one, trust me.
I have to say, Nancy, also, I like that you also took into consideration when you were bringing someone else on, you always wanted to make sure that we all kind of had similar personalities, or that everyone would create together and everyone would get along well.
Okay, so one of the things I tell my clients who are hiring people, these are the questions after you do a job description of everything you would like that person to have, there's one additional, and Malia, I did this to you actually, and I think I tell this story all the time, but I don't know if you ever knew I told this story. I literally said to you at the end of the interview, but do you like me?
I do remember that, yes.
And I don't know if people believe me when I tell that story, but I really do. Like, to me, I need someone who's smart, who has who needs the money, who has the ability to figure stuff out. Like, I buy training, I send it to you and I go, can you just do this? Because I can't, like, I bought a YouTube training once and I was like, okay, I'm like 5 seconds in and I have no idea what this woman is talking about. Send it to Malia, right? And Malia was able to figure it out. And probably still has more to do because I never give you enough time to do that. But then the last question I asked you was, but do you actually like what I do? And do you like me? Because I know I'm a body language trainer now, but I wasn't then. And I could just sense whether you were being genuine or not when you gave that.
Yeah. I mean, what's not to like?
Well,
what's not to love?
Thank you. But no, it's more like for people who are hiring, you want your people you're hiring to have that genuine feeling of being dedicated to the growth of your company. One of the things I hear all the time is, what do I do if they want to go out and start their own interior design firm? Or what if they want to go out and become their own coach or run their own marketing firm? And I'm like, okay, so what? Like, when you teach everybody everything you know, it allows you to rise to the next level. I did this when I was a 24-year-old supervisor teaching my assistant supervisor things. My manager at the time said, "Why are you teaching her everything? You're going to teach yourself right out of a job." And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm actually going to rise up to the next level. There's people who can take my place." And that is something that I still, abide by today.
That's awesome.
And I mean, how many of the people that you've coached even are now becoming interior design coaches? Like, you encourage that. Like, you really, it's that openness of, and that free flow of information, that trusting of your employees and what their intellect can do for your company, and that type of culture that you create within, I believe, like the committees you run and the IGS, you really respect the things you don't know and the people who can help you do them.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be everyone who's listening. If you're running your own business, don't ever be afraid of teaching anyone everything you know. Like when I see someone do something fabulous up on stage, I'm like, how did he or she just do that? I need to learn that. Or I see someone do something amazing online. I'm like, oh my God, I need to learn how to do that. And then I teach it to whoever wants to learn it. I'm all for more interior design business coaches, more coaches in the interior design world. I don't believe in competition. I really believe that there's enough work for everyone, and everyone just is attracted to whatever voice they relate to. Right?
Amen. Yep.
Right. So just to echo on when I wasn't visible and when I was in the lobby, just to echo on what Kaden and Sally was stating earlier, I would really have to agree. One of the things that really makes Nancy different from a leadership perspective, and this is something that I've also learned way back when I was coached as an operations manager. I was coached by a director. When I was a supervisor, I was coached by an operations manager. The common thing that I've really learned is not to be afraid. I mean, sometimes that's regardless whether it's on a leadership, corporate, or entrepreneurship. And this is the reality. Sometimes we got scared that we're not sharing stuff, where in fact we should not be scared at all and be generous enough to let others grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I would say, I would brag that I was a consistent supervisor when I was handling frontline employees.
Mm-hmm.
That's because just like what Nancy has been doing to us, that's why I'm also inspired working with Nancy, because I also see one of great leaders way back in corporate through her. So we've learned to really trust the people around us, especially our own subordinates, and as a result, would be either as an entrepreneur, a growth in business, or someone who's working in the corporate, the growth in their career. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still the staff, or maybe I'm also because I'm also inspired by John Maxwell. I really read, like, my favorite one is the 360-degree leadership, and that's one of the things that I really learned, to really believe in people.
Yes.
Around you.
Yeah, it's true. Really believing people around you, and you can help bring out the best in people.
Right.
I want to get into
when it's your own team too. It creates this synergy that just keeps getting upgraded as you are pouring into each individual team member. It's like when we come together, it's like the ideas even combust into something, greater and more rich. So it's like you reap what you sow. So it only gets better. The more that you give, the better everything else that you do gets.
It's true. And I wanted to talk a little bit about like the actual how we manage with us all being all over the place, right? Where none of us are in the same location. So I really wish we could have all 5 of us up here right now, but Sally's in the lobby at the moment and I'll switch us up. But we meet virtually every Monday where all of us are here, and Wingnut Social is there with us too, again, who manages our Instagram account. And we go over, okay, I'm going to be rolling out contracts soon. What is everyone's role in that? And then Cadens and Sally, we've
been meeting almost, when we first started, we weren't in between our weekly meetings. None of us were talking,
Yes.
And now we realize, it would actually be really beneficial if me and Sally talked about this project. And then we actually present it to Nancy as a fully formed idea. And then, sometimes me and Malia get together and we talk about copywriting. So I love that it's developed that way. So keep going, Mom.
I mean, it really happened because I got overwhelmed, and you said to everyone at a weekly meeting, like, Mom has no time. She has to worry about the clients, the collaborations, the speaking engagements, the webinars. I need time to practice my webinars, write my webinars, which I still do myself, and do my training and do my coaching. And you said, we all have to work together in the background and try to keep her out of the decision she doesn't need to be part of. And I was like, yay.
Did I say that? I don't remember.
I remember you saying, well, maybe you said it to me. I think you said it to everyone, like whatever I can be out of, when it's not my face, my words, my, my knowledge that has to be relayed, you guys can run this company in the background without me, and let me focus on what I love to do, which is help my clients make more money. Right. And obviously my clients making more money makes me more money, and it all feeds the whole system. But I could not do it without you guys. I mean, hands down, the way we're growing exponentially is because of the years of putting in, right? We're 3.5 years now almost.
I think a little more, maybe, yeah.
3.5 in June, right? When I first started coaching all by myself, still running Expressive Living, was January of 2016, 16, 17, yeah. January of 2016 was when I ran Expressive Living and coaching, and I kept Expressive Living open, I think, for about a year. And I am absolutely 100% in the right space. But I wanted to also talk about Trello, because Cody introduced us to Trello when he manages his team, which manages my LinkedIn and my Facebook group, using Trello. And then I started to kind of dabble in it. It's a project management. I couldn't get it at first. And then I started using it a little bit, but recently, Caden and Sally
Sally has been using Trello this whole time. And
I'm going to bring you down and bring Sally back up.
Okay. Well, so Sally has been using Trello this whole time to manage her whole workflow. And I believe she's even tried, Sally, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've tried to get me on board, and I was being a little, I was still using pen and paper up until 2 weeks ago.
Which I was actually surprised at, because I know that mom likes to do that too.
Yeah.
You know how many little notebooks I have? Literally, I have notebooks filled with stuff.
Me and Nancy are in another coaching program, and I was absolutely up to my ears in stuff. And I was like, there has to be a better way. I am losing track of everything. I'm forgetting to email people back. I'm forgetting to do things I shouldn't be forgetting to do. And so I went into this actual coaching program we're in with Russell Brunson, and I found his project management videos, and I watched it. And the way they organize their team, I was like, I need to talk to Sally. We met once, 2 or 3 times before we even presented it to Mom. And then you want to continue?
But I think Nancy was already using it. We just didn't know that, right?
I was using it. I was using it to keep track of I was not using it.
He was not really using it.
I wasn't using it well.
Yeah.
Haphazardly, kind of half-assed. It was kind of like, I like that you can move things from board to board. So Trello is a project management software that you can keep track of your projects. For interior designers, there are softwares like MyDoma and Ivy and Design Manager, and there's all kinds of programs like that I highly recommend for interior designers. However, for managing the company activities, something like a Trello, Basecamp, Dubsado, there's like a million of them, but Trello was free. And I had seen Cody using it with his team, and he had me on it. It just works for us now because you and Sally met and figured out our workflow.
I don't think we've mastered it. I think Cody has a lot more knowledge about it, but I do like it because it kind of reminds me of Pinterest, because it's more visual for me, and I'm more visual.
Because what was happening was we were having these really long email chains of replying all to all 5 members of the team, and then it would be like, I know Mom deletes everything the second she reads it, so But now we have a Trello card where we can keep the whole comments going, and we can attach attachments, and we can put stuff like that, and. Yeah, we all have dogs. Don't worry, Sally.
Yeah,
But
your
it-
dog will trigger my dog, which will trigger Cadens' dog, and then we'll have the dogs will be talking soon. Okay, so really to summarize,
we're constantly evolving.
it never ends, guys. I love when people say to me, I need to have all my systems in place before I make money and before I go out and market myself. And I'm like, really? Because my systems are always evolving. They're always evolving, and so should everybody's. It's just the way it is. So when you're starting a business, for me, and this is different from some coaches, and I totally get it. It's definitely a personality thing. I've been told I'm a control freak, but for some reason, when it comes to business, I'm like, I'm okay with going out and getting the business, and I have confidence in myself that I'm going to fill in the blanks of whatever I may not do well. And that's why I'm so big on teaching people confidence, because if you know that you have the ability to pull it out, then you will do so when you need to. And it's something that if you like wait till you have everything perfect and all your systems in place, often that is what's holding you up from going out and just making money and sharing your skill with the world. So I'm the opposite of a lot of people. It's like, go out and do. And with that money that you're making, you'll be able to fill in a team. You'll be able to fill in the blanks. But you're going to do what you have to do to not disappoint the people who are hiring you. It's just the way it is. We expand to the needs of the people we bring on as clients. Am I making any sense? I think I'm babbling at this point.
No, you're making sense. My dog is trying to get up on my lap.
Let's see him.
Everyone want to see the baby?
The baby that now my son can't come home because he has a baby that's being potty trained.
Oh my God.
Oh,
This is Clancy. He's a 3-month-old rescue.
I'm going to hide your name for a second so we can see more of him. Go ahead, show me. Hi, Clancy.
Look. He's a black lab.
Grandma.
She's a grandma, yeah. And he's now my office manager. He decides what I do and when I do it.
Oh my God, he's really cute. He's really cute.
But he does have a skin infection and giardia, and he's a rescue, so we're taking care of him.
Aw. All right. Well, yeah, Caden wanted to come home last week. I'm like, you cannot come home with that dog because my dog doesn't like other dogs. So now I have a grand dog that I can't bring around my own dog. We're going to have to figure this out, but not until he's crate trained.
We're getting there. We're working on it.
We're working on it. So, all right, so
I'm the aunt.
you're the aunts. Aunts and uncles. So, all right. So it's 5:27. I just want to make sure I publicly thank my entire team. Without you guys, I could not do what I do and help other interior designers and business owners grow their businesses. Your ideas that you bring me have helped make this business what it is today. I am not always the brainchild, everybody. I am a good leader in sales and manager and marketing, and I can teach you guys a ton of stuff, but these guys bring ideas to me that just are amazing every single day.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Thank you. And I got to bring Malia back up. Yeah, Malia's in the lobby blowing me kisses. So, Cody, I'm going to say goodbye to you first because it is now almost 5:30 in the morning.
5:30 from Manila, right?
From Manila,
right.
Philippines. Thank you so much for managing that Facebook group. It's getting really active now.
Yeah, crazy, right?
It's definitely
Okay, I apologize if your links were removed, but yeah,
don't put links.
talk. Let's talk.
Right, just don't put links and you'll be fine.
Right.
So, all right, thank you, Cody. I'm going to bring you down into the lobby. You can go have another cup of coffee and have your morning.
All right.
Bring Malia back up.
All right.
Bye. Oh my God, Caden, is that you? That was
Just
loud.
Did you just crash?
I think you just crashed.
I'll be right back. Mute me.
Okay, I'm going to mute Caden. So again, Cody handles my Facebook and my LinkedIn, my Facebook group and my LinkedIn. Malia writes is my content writer, both my emails and my blogs. My emails, just interestingly enough, Malia does the kind of like the guts of it. And then I go in and I add personalization to it. And I have to tell you, I got that from, if anyone doesn't watch Mel Robbins or follow Mel Robbins, you got to follow Mel Robbins. She's phenomenal. She's a motivational speaker. She's coming out with her own TV show. But I always wondered, how are her emails so personal? There's no way she's writing them all. And she might be. But I figured out that I can't write all my own emails, but I can go in after they're written and put personalization at the beginning and end and actually schedule it myself. And that's how I do it. So my Sunday morning emails, if you guys get them where it's personal, what I did yesterday or what's going on in my head, and then the guts of it, usually Malia has written it based on, listening to my content. So thank you, Malia.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
I love you as an addition to our team. It's phenomenal.
I love you. I love all of you so much.
We are such a happy family.
We are.
We are. And Sally, again, you've been with me. How many years now since Expressive Living?
I feel like Barbara. It's 7 years.
I used to say 7 years for everything. I'd be like, Barbara's been with me 7 years. And Barbara would go 10. And I'm like, oh, everything's always 7. So someone asked me today, why do I end all my pricing with 7s? And I thought, because I like 7s, like literally, I like 7s. So I am always, $197, $297, $497. All my courses ends with a 7. Like, it's just so funny. I always do that. I do like the number 7s. So thank you, Malia. Thank you, Sally, for the Pinterest, the miscellaneous client communications, the Facebook posts on my business page. You do so much like miscellaneous stuff too. Oh, and Malia handles my YouTube channel also. There's so much that I haven't even mentioned. These guys are rock stars. And Caden, of course, I'll unmute you. Is your dog making any more noise?
He's left the room. He decided he doesn't want to do this anymore.
The rock star.
He left the building. Smart dog. Thank you, Caden, because Caden is literally, he's my son. He works for me. However, he is my strategic partner. We talk for hours and hours and hours about how we can serve you guys better and how we can do it in a way that is as smooth as possible. So we work really hard on that, right down to the webinars and the billing and the email list and everything behind the scenes. It is not, I don't know how it looks from the outside. I remember thinking, coaches have the life, man. They're traveling. They're working that laptop life. This is so easy. I want to do this. And now I know, like, holy shit, it's not easy at all. And there's a ton that goes into running a really well-oiled machine coaching business that actually helps people. So, so thank you all. I appreciate it. And we are over time now by 2 minutes. So last cheers for weekend wind down. Cheers.
Yeah, I'm actually done.
Cheers. And again, thank you to Cody, who's now in the lobby. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate everyone who watched and all my clients and everyone who's in our group. I'm doing what I love every single day, and I truly feel like the luckiest person in the world. So cheers, and I will see you next week on Weekend Wind Down. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.